So what I did here is I prepared a copy of the model, the exact copy. The funny thing is I have a slight difference here. I don't know why, but it's pretty much the same. There is shouldn't be any big difference. I don't know where this change coming from. Maybe something in the setting is slightly different. It shouldn't be different really. I had here a shading device. I tested some shading. We'll get to that later, and maybe that causes a slight different, or maybe I rotated it slightly. I think it's all the same. But yeah, I thought it would be good to always have the original model here, and then look at on how it changes when we apply programs and construction sets. And we will start here at the basic properties. So this is our current model, and this is the old one. And I hope you can remember, we in this chart we look at all the different data sets we have: the cooling, lighting, electric equipment, and heating. And in here we actually look at only one item at a time, so we can switch between data. So you can see if I put cooling, the in-suite bathroom needs the most heating in that case during winter, but the least cooling in summer. Lighting is all the same because we haven't applied any schedule yet. That's just all the same schedules, and the same for the electric equipment. And then there are more data buffs, but here there is no data in yet, so we can't actually look at it. And we will have a look at the end of the video on how we can increase the data. Before that, we will start to look at these properties, the building programs and the construction types. And we might not look into the subsets. We can refine that at the end of the series with more things, but let's get to the basics first. And the constructions are then very detailed constructions for your rooms or certain faces and so on. And we'll also have a quick look on schedules, because we will need that. Just one thing before, what we did here was we separated each room, and it was very ambitious from my side, because I thought, okay, let's really apply different programs and construction sets, or at least different programs to the different rooms, which is what you normally do. But the OpenStudio app model or software which calculates, they don't have so many programs, or let's say they don't have programs for single family buildings. It's really more about commercial buildings, commercial or public buildings, like hospitals and shopping malls and stuff like that. It doesn't matter. I think it's still okay, so we can actually try to look at the different building programs, but also the different construction sets, but mostly about the programs, and see what we can use and just test different things. It might be not 100% accurate because of the type, but from a learning perspective, I think it's still valid. So yeah, it was very ambitious from my side to separate all of these, but on the other side, I think it's just a good exercise, really. All right, let's start. This is the climate part. This is our simple model, the geometry, and there are several other inputs here which we can then look further. Just recalculating the weather data, because I just want to have this in a relay. It doesn't cross too many of the cables. But I will now turn this off. So I will turn off the write and run, just because I don't want to see these things all the time. I don't want to always rerun the whole calculation. So for now we can turn this off. It's also easier than for us to see on how we apply the program. Okay, so let's go from here. So building vintages and climate zones are here at the beginning. If you open these, you will not really understand what you need to do with it, but we will see right away that we can use that quite well, and I will explain very quickly what that is and what it means. And then we have attributes, and you saw that probably, so attributes by face and by room. And let's let's look at these first from the room side. And these are room energy attributes. And you probably can remember that we had the same here in Honeybee. They're also attributes. They're the room attributes. These are much less because it just deals with the geometry, but not with the energy stuff. The energy schedule and construction set and program. So here it's selected program. So how can we use that? We can use that by using the Honeybee room by attributes tool. And we want to use that because we will see what each room actually has stored as a program based on, or like we can check each room for its attributes or the whole model for its attributes. So we can place this here, panel. The value goes in here, and we can also like map or list the room. And let's take the first room here, and then this is the wrong. Disconnect. This is the room, and then the program. And you can see currently the program is office, generic office, and the room is the kitchen. So there's already a mismatch anyway. Construction set is the default construction set. So we could take this and also use our model instead, or the collection of rooms. It doesn't matter. Can use this here, and now we see all the rooms listed and all the construction sets which are in the model. So that hopefully is clear. So we have climate zone, we have the building vintages. Now here's written the climate zones. We would now need to know what is the climate zone for our, or maybe let's do it the other way. Let's start from because it's slightly misleading. We have the building vintages and the climate zones at the beginning, and then the attributes here, and then we jump into programs. But actually, I think we need to look at the construction set first. This is on how the building is constructed. There are different ways, and we can look at this individual. I can open all of them so we can compare what the different things are. Construction set. We can create a construction set by climate zone, vintage, and construction type. So that's one way to create a construction set. There is also construction types. These are actually just steel frame, wood frame, mass, and metal building. And we could also look at all available construction sets and select the one from here. It's a bit crazy because it's a really long list. Find this less useful than constructed from here, because what it really is, it's the same as this. It's just if you look here, for example, climate zone 1, mass, metal building, steel frame or wood frame. Climate zone 2, mass, and then also the year when so it's basically the same as this one, but this where you choose the items, and this where you choose a text, where you select, you filter from the construction sets, from the list of all construction sets, you filter with the keywords. And here you just construct the construction set, which then also filters out from the list basically. And these are the construction types. So yeah, it is a bit, it looks a bit complicated, but it's actually not. So construction sets we need in order to apply to a model or to a room. As you can see here is the modifier set. This we used for radiance, and then we have the construction sets, which we need to use for the energy modeling and the program. So these also, if it's conditioned or not, these are the three items which are the most important for the energy modeling. And let's start with the kitchen, and you will see we run into problems right away, but let's do it first. So as you can see, we have the climate zones, which is here. We have the building vintages, the ASHRAE. This is the latest building standard, and I will explain right away what that means. And we have the construction types. And you can see here, I explained already. We are in London and Region 6, Europe, Great Britain, United Kingdom, England, Great Britain, London, City, blah, blah, blah. Now, we would need to know what kind of climate zone we are, really. And the climate zone is a specific one. It's the ASHRAE climate zone. And this is a very American climate zone system. And that's why it's not always clear for other countries or other weather stations on which climate zone they are. And it's normally in the stat file. So if you go into Ladybug imports that. Then you can see here the ASHRAE zone or the Köppen zone. The Köppen zone is a global classification of climate, and ASHRAE is the zone classified by organization ASHRAE, which is the American Society of Heating, Refrigerating and Air Conditioning Engineers. That is ASHRAE. And the building vintage is the ASHRAE building vintage 1990. IECC 2021. So what it really is building standards defined by this organization, and they are here in a list for years, and they define the construction types further, more detail. So it's basically standard which are defined by this organization, and the IECC 2021 is the International Energy Conservation Code. And please read more. There's also a YouTube video about what the ASHRAE is, and for sure there are other examples and texts about what the International Energy Conservation Code is, but it's about building standards. And again, it aims for more for like public or commercial buildings, and not necessarily for single family buildings. But in terms of learning, I think we can still use that. Let's assume this is going to be a new building, and we just use the latest standards. So we could choose here. If it's an older building, we might choose somewhere from here. And if we know the building standard, then we can select from here. Let's assume it's the latest built with the latest building standards. And then we need to find the climate zone. The climate zone, the problem here, as I tried to explain before, a stat file is normally, it will give us the ASHRAE zone, and it's just a number between 0 and 8. And then there are letters devoted to wetness, A, B, and C. And I know, I Googled it already, I checked what is London, because London isn't, the problem, it's not here. The data is just not in that data set, so I had to check it online and found and normally it should be actually in your weather file. Normally it should be there. It had just happened that in that data set it's not shown, so we don't have that information. But I know from checking it online that London would be 4A. So we go here, say mixed, and we can use that in the climate zone. And then we can choose the construction type. And let's say it's a wood frame. We're very, very modern, sustainable material. And let's try that. And here we have our construction set. We can place this here. And I would say it's for all the rooms. We can actually apply this to all the rooms. So this is a predefined construction set. And of course you can go more into detail. But for now, for this first video of refining, we just use that. And it could be that there are different construction sets within one building. As you, for example, you have your first floor was built earlier, and then I don't know in the 80s, and then you add another floor to your building, and maybe this is a completely different construction set. Then you would have more construction sets. More than one. But in our case, it's going to be a new build. We use the same construction set for the entire building. And probably there's a more elegant way and just applying it to all of them, but that's where we are at the moment. And it's also a way to do it. Gives us the most flexibility we can get. Now, if we look at our construction set in the kitchen, then we can see program is still generic office. Construction set is wood frame and is conditioned. It is conditioned, it's true. Typical American. In Europe, a lot of family buildings are not. They have no air condition, just a natural ventilation. And now you can also see here, we can see that we applied everything to all the rooms. That's why we have, in our entire model, we have only one construction set. If I would take, for example, this off, disconnect, then we would have more than one. Then we see there's one room with the generic construction set. And now we could run our model again and see what that does. Lighting hasn't changed, it's still the same. Let's go back to cooling. So cooling, it needs less energy to cool. And by the way, the colors don't relate to here. It's different. But yeah, you can see there is some difference already. In some areas we need more energy to cool, but overall it's less, it seems like. By the way, always need to be careful with the colors, to compare only the colors, because it goes always for a minimum and maximum. So we could, in order to control that a bit better, we could set this as a maximum and minimum. So we have here 24 as a maximum and 0 as a minimum. So let's put 24 or 25 as a maximum, so we can compare the colors better. Set this here as, this was the wrong, sorry. Not this one, here. Legend parameters, get it twice. We have different charts and we set the maximum here to 25. Now this is 25 is the maximum, and now we can compare that a bit better, because we could copy this whole thing and place it here, so we can compare the colors directly. So now it's a bit more clear. So with a wood frame, so compared to the generic construction set, the wood frame construction set with the latest building standards will use less cooling. We can also compare heating. Now this is a problem. You need to always play with these a bit. So if we go here, we look at detach the maximum here, then we have 60 as a maximum. We can also set it to 100. Let's set it to 60 here so we can compare it directly. And the same here. Seems we need a bit more heating. Seems overall needs more heating. We could also go, let's see what the maximum is here. No, it's actually lower. Interesting. In any case, so that's one way to compare before and after. There's more to that, to the construction sets. We could set a much more detailed one. Single family. By the way, special characters and special characters like the Spanish A with the line, I don't know how it's called, but we need to be careful with these. Just use simple description. Base construction would be this one. This is my base construction. We now could set an exterior subset, the ground subset, interior subset, and face subset. And these are the items here: construction subset, ground construction subset, face subset, and interior construction subset. And there you can create very detailed sets which fit to your building. Let's, for example, look at the ground set. We could go now here, ground roof, ground floor, ground wall, and we could then go into the construction and create this type of material. Or so search constructions and materials, and we can look at that a bit more in the next video. But I just wanted to give you a quick idea on how that might work. And this is then a much more refined construction set for either for a certain part of the building, maybe for the ground level, or for a specific room where you have a certain interior set. That we can look at that next time.